Welcome to this tutorial on Make Beliefs Comics, which is one of the choices for the digital choice board for this project. It's a great site to use to tell a story. It can be used for many different projects. The website's fairly easy to use, and once you've completed your storyboard, you'll want to go to makebeliefcomics.com. And the very first thing you'll want to do is from this middle box is scroll through the list of characters and choose one that will best be suited for your story or your storyboard to tell your story. So you're just going to click on a character, and then that character shows up in the selection window over here. Below the selection window, there's arrows that you can use to find different emotions that the character might be able to use in your story. So choose an emotion that goes along with your first talking point in your story. Once you have selected the emotion by going through the arrows, you'll notice that the first frame is highlighted in red. So if I click on this character now in the selection pane, it will go up into my frame. And then over here, the move is highlighted, so that will let me move my character around in my frame. I can also use some of these other things, like scale would let me click on my character, and then there's a slider that would let me make my character bigger or smaller in the frame. Bring to front later when you get more object on your pages, and we'll go through flip in a minute here. So the next thing you're going to want to do is add some talking or thoughts to your character. So whether they're just thinking it to themselves or whether they're actually saying it out loud. So down here below the characters frame is the talk balloons and thought balloons. So once I choose the talk balloons in my selection window again, I can go through and choose which kind of talk balloon I need and what size I need it to be. So the first ones where it's big, it means that the text is going to be larger in the box, and so if I need a smaller text, I might need to go through and choose a different one. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a thought balloon here. And again, once it's in the selection window, I click it, it puts it up into my my box, and I can resize it or drag it and move it. And then to actually add the text, I'm going to click in the box, and then it will let me type what I want it to say. So you can go ahead and type. Okay, so once you have your text in the box, that's all you need to do there. And then once I'm done with this frame, in order to go to the next frame, I actually just click on the frame, and then that frame will be highlighted in red, and I can continue with the next step. So after you add a character and some speech, the next thing you might want to do is to add friends or other characters to the conversation. So again, I'm going to still include my main character here and click on her, so she's added back in, and I can resize her again by making her smaller a little bit. And then I'm going to find another character to add. Now in this case, the mom I want to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to scale her up. And then I'm also want to flip her so that she's looking at her daughter. So you can use this flip to kind of create a mirror image of a character. And then I can move her. Okay, then you can go ahead and once you have your characters in, you can also add background colors. So down here, I could add just a colored background to my frame, or in this section, the kind of if I hover over different things, I have backgrounds, words, and objects. If I click on the backgrounds, I get then again in my selection pane can scroll through until I find a background that would match what I'm looking for here. So that I could add them into a background that they're at home. And then again, to get to my next frame, I'm going to want to click back over there and add the next thing that you're going to want to know how to do is to add different prompts or props and prompts both. So I'm going to add my character back in again. Actually, I'm going to delete that character. I'm going to want to use a different emotion here. Kind of an angry emotion. Find my same background with the house. And then over here is the object. So again, I can click on that and scroll through in my selection pane to find something that I might want to add, like a suitcase, because I'm going to add that she's going to be going to look for her dad. So I'm going to add that prop. Sorry. And then last down here is the panel prompt. So if I wanted to say, okay, after I finish this, I'm not going to be finished, I might need to continue it. So down here in this panel prompts, if I go through, there's one called to be continued, but I could also add one that would let me add my own text if I needed it to say something else. There is one that says type your own. So I'm just going to add something here. Okay, so once I have my scene set, I didn't add anything to this middle one, but you get the idea. I was going to have something, the mom say something too. But the next part is once I'm finished with my scenes, the default is to have 3 scenes, but down here in this panel choices, you could make it a 2 or a 4, but I'm just going to keep it 3 because that's a nice number that if I copy this strip and paste it onto a page, it would be a good width on my page, but I could always come in and add more scenes and paste more scenes. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So after I'm done with my scenes, I'm going to click on the next button, and it's going to take me to a page that would let me review it, but also I could print it, which would print just these 3 slides, or I could email it. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to take a screen capture of this strip or around these 3 images so that we can paste those into our, if you're doing a presentation in Google Slides or into just a Google Doc. So you're gonna take a screenshot of this. To do that, what you're going to need to do is use the shortcut on the Chromebook to take a screenshot or a partial screenshot. And to do that, you're going to hold down the Control, Shift, and then in the top row, there's a button that looks like 3 windows stacked on top of each other. So Control, Shift, and the windows will take you to it'll give you kind of a crosshairs that you can use to do a new snip. It'll look kind of like a plus sign, and then that you just use that box to drag a box around your 3 little windows here, and then that gives you it'll automatically copy those windows to your clipboard. So I'm just going to copy them because I'm using a different program here, but yours will automatically copy once you do that partial screenshot, and then you can go ahead and go into your Google Docs and paste, which using the commands Control and V to paste those into a Google Docs. So now I'm in my Google document, and all I have to do is hold down the Control and V, and it will paste in my film strip. And then if I wanted to add more, I would just hit enter at the end of that, and then I could go back and repeat that process, go back into Make Believe Comics and add the next 3 set of slides, do that same process over again, and then paste it back in. So I hope this was helpful in helping you get started with your Make Believe Comics, and if you have any questions, let us know.